Hi everyone, if you enjoy what I do, then I think you'd enjoy my short collection of short stories and new paranormal thriller, available now on Amazon. Please make sure to subscribe and consider becoming a Patreon. Enjoy the video! The world of Half-Life is as equally confusing as it is intriguing, with Black Mesa's resonance cascade setting in motion a course of events involving cosmic entities and pan-dimensional empires, each vying to control the fate of all things, and not always in a linear fashion. Large parts of the universe's greater picture are still to, and may ultimately never, be found. But could it be that echoes of the greater struggle, raging beyond the folds of reality, were glimpsed by a simple scientist, unrelated to the events to come, and uncomprehending of the things he would be shown by the lizards long ago? However, the terrain can be extremely dangerous. Right, time to die. On the morning of the resonance cascade, the Sector C test labs would be abuzz with excited activity, for the day's experiment would be like no other. Across the Black Mesa facility, however, the day would begin like any other, with any number of varied procedures taking place. The researchers involved knowing little, if anything, of the goings-on in the anomalous materials lab. One of these researchers would be an individual known to the facility's observers as Candidate 12. Inevitably, the scientist would become embroiled in the chaos unleashed by the actions of Gordon Freeman. Fighting for survival in the alien-infested war zone Black Mesa would become. Matching the skill or simple sheer luck of but a few of his colleagues, Candidate 12 would fight back against the gauntlet he was faced with, becoming of interest to the mysterious entity some refer to as the G-Man. Unlike the other candidates who were extracted, detained, or merely escaped, 12 would become of interest to certain alternate parties, but their contract would be open to the highest bidder after all. Would it have been as simple as mere contract negotiation though? For time, as limited as the concept was understood by humanity, had been convoluted. The G-Man, seemingly able to be everywhere at once, was at this time a split entity, an avatar of at least two different time frames, who would be pursued by a being bent on preventing a past which had not yet occurred. After the fall of the Citadel and the placement of Gordon Freeman back in their stasis, the G-Man would learn that the control he held over his prized asset was not as absolute as he had believed, and he would be forced to entertain alternate possibilities. To this end, he would travel back to the Black Mesa incident, effectively duplicating himself, and fooling those who glimpsed him into believing that he was more omnipresent than he really was. His main goal would be to extract the infant Alex Vance so that he may eventually employ her in the future, but alongside this he would also carry out contingency evaluations of promising individuals, including Candidate 12. 12 would show promise in their handling of the situation, but would ultimately be excluded from potential employment due to their susceptibility to external influence, for they had been shown too much of what could be by one who works against the G-Man's own machinations. He saw that if time had not been interfered with, then after the death of her father, Alex Vance and Gordon Freeman would have gone in search of the lost aperture icebreaker, Borealis, eventually facing a combined megastructure, at which point the G-Man would abscond with Alex, leaving Gordon to his fate. While it is unclear what would have resulted from this situation, it seems that it had been undesirable for the G-Man, and considering Freeman's questionable reliability, Alex would need to be employed much sooner in the timeline. As such, he would travel to City 17, 5 years before the fall of the Citadel, and prepare her for her assignment. However, he would be captured and imprisoned by the Combine in this time, eventually freed by Alex herself. It could be that under the G-Man's employ, Alex would go on to inflict terrible blows to the Combine, far greater than Gordon ever could, necessitating the presence of the second entity Candidate 12 would encounter at Black Mesa. An experimental Combine form would utilize a specialized Xenian crystal to facilitate a rudimentary form of time travel, far inferior to that of a G-Man's, but effective enough to transport the Combine agent to Black Mesa and extract Alex themselves before G-Man had the chance. Seeming to use the available resources to its advantage, the agent would try to interact with Candidate 12, using him to distract the G-Man while it attempted to thwart him on various occasions, culminating in transporting 12 to the Vance residence to occupy the G-Man while the agent extracted Alex. While its plan would be successful at first, the G-Man would quickly destroy the agent's crystal as it tried to interact with 12 once more, either killing it or banishing it back to the future. While the series of events appear on the face of it to be linear enough, it has to be considered whether the G-Man who ended the agent's interference was the same as who prevented it from taking Alex, or yet another iteration of him from another future where he was aware of what would occur. Further to this idea, it cannot be guaranteed that the agent wasn't the one to initially extract Alex, with each trying to thwart each other over and over until there's no longer any certainty about what is cause and what is effect. It could even be that the G-Man has travelled back and forth in time so much that he no longer possesses a continuity of self as a human would understand it, instead acting out every possibility until a desirable outcome is reached, even freezing time during a conversation to consult his own employers before resuming with seemingly no time lost for those he interacts with. Whatever the case, the veil has been pulled back for Candidate 12, and whether they understand what they had seen or not, the result would be the same, as G-Man left them to die in the nuclear blast that leveled Black Mesa, once more achieving the outcome most desirable for his own needs. Hi everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked what you saw, then I think you'd like my short collection of short stories. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, sharing it with all your friends, and if you want to support me that bit more, become a Patreon. Links are all down in the description. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you next time.